brought to you by CFU, the power of service.
More with UNI head basketball coach Ben Jacobson. Coach, talk about the challenge of getting your team ready for back-to-back top 20 opponents, and both of those games being on the road. You guys fought really hard at Arkansas, just about pulled that game out, and then got the win over 16th ranked St. Bonaventure.
Yeah, the experience at Arkansas, I feel like, really helped us. You know, that was that's a real challenge. You know, to take your team to Arkansas and take your team to St. Bonaventure, but those experiences, you learn a lot about not just where you're at. I think that's where people go sometimes. Is, oh, you're going to learn a lot about your team. We learned a lot about how to have success. You know, at Arkansas, guys played great in a lot of ways, but we made too many mistakes. And we did not make as many of those mistakes at St. Bonaventure, and played with the same confidence, played with the same pace on offense. We made 17 threes at Arkansas. We made 15 at St. Bonaventure, shot a high percentage from the three-point line in both games. As I've touched on tonight, Brett, our passing was really good in both games. But we learned that if we can cut down some of the mistakes, a couple defensive mistakes, a couple things offensively when we get the ball to certain spots, to be able to finish that play with either a basket, a foul, or a pass, and not turn it over. That to me is what this is all about. Is learning and being able to go to the next game and then cut out some mistakes and continue to play with a high level of confidence.
Trey Burhow had 23 points against Arkansas. Nate Heisey, 15 points in that game against St. Bonaventure. He's had a good start. What's the value in having a number of different guys that can hit that 15-point plateau and higher? Yeah,
it gives you a way to put a lot of pressure on the other team. We feel like it's going to be hard for our opponents to take one guy or one action or one thing that we like to do offensively to take that away and feel like it's going to really slow us down. Because we've got a good roster, as I've said, and now with Cole back going again, and with Bowen healthy and back in the rotation, and we just feel like we've got a lot of guys that can play at that end of the floor, and now it's about tightening up some things at the other end.
Coach, talk about your staff, Eric Crawford, PJ Hogan, Seth Tuttle. You've got kind of a different structure to how you guys are handling game prep and getting guys ready offensively and defensively, with Crawford and Tuttle kind of working offense, Hogan and assistants from Crawford looking at the defense this year.
Yeah, and that's, Eric and Seth have done a lot of the offensive things now for a couple of years and done a great job with that. With KG, moving over to Iowa State, the adjustment we've made, PJ continues to run the defensive stuff. But Eric's going to go back and forth here a little bit, continue to have a real hand in what we're doing offensively, but take a couple of the scouts on the other side of it from a defensive standpoint. And I think that's been really good for us. A consistent voice defensively with PJ and Kyle for a number of years. Now with PJ and Eric pitching in there some, and then the same consistency in terms of the message and the concepts and what we're looking at offensively. To have that come from Eric and have that come from Seth, it's really been good for us.
All right, it turned out a top 20 win. Panthers top 16th ranked St. Bonaventure this past weekend, and we'll have more with Coach Jacobson as we look ahead. Coming up right now, here's a story on Missouri Valley Football Conference Defensive Player of the Year, Jared Brinkman.